The mysterious disappearance of senior figures within the Chinese Communist Party often mask deeper, untold narratives. Recently, eyebrows were raised over the conspicuous absence of China's Defense Minister, Shangfu. The Financial Times on September 14th hinted that the US government speculates he might be under some form of scrutiny. It begs the question, why has an official in his 60s and relatively low profile suddenly become the centerpiece of a political chess game? One wonders why Xi continues to underscore its revamping. If Li Shangfu indeed had skeletons in his closet, why was he christened as Defense Minister as recently as March? In the power hierarchy of the Central Military Commission, Li Shangfu stands tall, overshadowed only by its two vice-chairmen, cementing his place as one of China's military elites. Most of the top officers known to be in hot water, or rumored to be, are from the Rocket Force. This includes its former commander, Li Yuchao, ex-political commissioner Xu Zhongbo, former deputy commander Wu Guohua, and previous Defense Minister Wei Fenghe. The rocket force, central to China's nuclear arsenal, is deemed a primary tool in deterring any US interference in Taiwan affairs. With a background steeped in aerospace, including a stint as the director of Xichang Satellite Launch Center and involvement in the Chang'e's 2 mission, Li Shangfu's nexus with the rocket force runs deep. Xi Jinping's expectations of the rocket force are skyscraper high, but the present scenario suggests they might be falling short, potentially fueling Xi's assertive corrective measures. Reflecting on the rocket force's recent headline moments, last August, faced with US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Taiwan visit, China flexed its muscles with military drills. Ordinarily, the crescendo of such exercises, the live missile launch, accumulates at the end. Yet, in a plot twist on August 4th, 11 missiles took to the skies prematurely, rendering subsequent Air Force drills almost mundane. The missile barrage sparked controversies, especially when 5 found their resting place in Japan's exclusive economic zone. Was this an oversight or a calculated move? In 2020, the US claimed the rocket force launched 4 medium-range missiles targeting the South China Sea. In contrast, the South China Morning Post from Hong Kong counted only 2. This inconsistency spurred whispers and conjectures. Where did the missing duo end up? Rumor mills hinted at Guangxi as their landing spot, with alleged photos as corroborative evidence. Such anomalies naturally cast shadows over the rocket force's equipment, fidelity, and battle readiness. The Russo-Ukrainian conflict spotlighted an uncomfortable moment for Russia when its touted hypersonic Dagger missile was intercepted by the US classic Patriot system. If Russia's cutting-edge arsenal can be thwarted, might China's celebrated DF-21 and DF-26 anti-carrier missiles also have vulnerabilities? Xi's faith in the PLA's equipment arsenal may be wavering. From 2021, the grapevine buzzed with China's expansion of its intercontinental missile silos in Gansu. Analysts opine this might be a militaristic gambit on getting a heads-up of an enemy missile strike. A barrage might be unleashed from these silos, but given the grey area of false alarms, this strategy might propel China to break its no first use nuclear doctrine, hiking the ante for a nuclear showdown. The no first use vow has its roots in the 1960s. As in the US and USSR chartered arms control dialogues, the CCP opt to stay in the wings to avoid being painted as an unpredictable new threat. However, as global dynamics shift and the CCP aims to stand toe-to-toe with the US on the world stage, such historical pledges might be relegated to the archives. Against a backdrop where a nuclear button could be pressed at the drop of a hat, the rocket force's equipment quality needs to be revisited. A significant military intelligence leaked last October laid bare detailed dossiers on China's rocket force, unveiling everything from missile deployment spots, models, troop numbers, right down to the commander's name. This wasn't just a blow to the rocket force's psyche, but a deliberate counter-strategy by the US. The revelation, especially when juxtaposed against China's waning economic vigor and looming national pressures, might have been a jarring wake-up call for Xi. His dream of Taiwan unification might seem to be receding, further increasing his dissatisfaction with the rocket force's efficiency. The recent focus on the inner workings of China's rocket force has revealed significant equipment challenges. Despite Xi Jinping's emphasis on using domestically produced chips, it was discovered that some missiles, which are destroyed after test launches and thus difficult to examine, discreetly utilize chips smuggled from Taiwan. The cost of each of these missiles is in the millions of US dollars, pointing to illicit profiteering within the rocket force. Blame has to be primarily directed at the General Equipment Department, especially towards Li Shangfu, who previously held a pivotal role. His influence extended to several military equipment and procurement projects. On September 1st, Li Shangfu's arrest implicated 8 other officials from the General Equipment Development Department, suggesting the issues might span beyond the rocket force to other branches, including the Air Force, Navy, cyber military, and strategic support forces. In a recent unexplained move, the Shandong aircraft carrier and over 20 other naval vessels from China convened on the Pacific eastern side near Japan. Analysts believe this was not a prelude to an assault on Taiwan, but a massive real-world equipment test to identify potential risks or deficiencies. Another theory suggests a strategy to keep key military equipment distant, avoiding potential mutinies reminiscent of the battleship Potemkin incident. Xi Jinping's comprehensive crackdown on both the rocket force and the General Equipment Department is evocative of the Soviet Union's Great Purge era. The scope of this purge traces back 7 years, hinting that not only are Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe under the lens, but also Zhang Youxia, the vice chairman of the Military Commission. It seems this is just the tip of the iceberg, but the ripple effect have already destabilized the Communist Party's foundation. Given the myriad of challenges in the economic sphere, the upcoming third plenary session of the Central Committee becomes pivotal. However, any updates will be delayed until September 18th. Historically, this gathering centered on economic affairs, but the prevailing economic complexities heightened the stake this year. Both Qin Gang and Li Shangfu, being members of the Central Committee, will likely be spotlighted during the session. Will their memberships be rescinded? This uncertainty may be causing the session's delay. Should this year's Central Committee meeting be postponed, the Central Economic Work Conference slated for year-end will grapple with content and direction. The tremors from Xi Jinping's high-level purges undeniably unsettle both the political and economic arenas. Xi Jinping's current actions seem impulsive, with few voices offering moderation. This underscores his urgency and resolve to achieve reunification by force. His commitment to this end is evident, with every passing moment amplifying its importance. The Chinese military, despite its facade of might, grapple with pervasive corruption, defying the vision of President Xi Jinping. The 2017 drama series In the Name of the People, produced at the behest of the Film and Television Center of the Communist Party's Supreme People's Procuratorate, pulled back the curtain on this unsettling issue. Prior to its premiere, the series writer Zhou Minshen described the current state in a chilling interview, noting, "Today's corruption is unimaginable. Military vehicles designated for drills are sold off before they're even used. Allegedly 100 shells were fired, but only 10 were actually launched. From squad leaders to generals, official positions are auctioned off." He added, since the 1927 Nanchang Uprising and all battles which CCP took part in, only very few generals have died in battle. Yet under Xi Jinping's reign, over 140 generals have been ousted in his anti-corruption purge. Luckily, there is no war. If there is war, how will these corruption-fueled generals defend the nation? Xi's intensive crackdown, designed to bolster military prowess, seems more like a challenge to the entire armed forces. Corruption is so entrenched that the public hasn't been informed about investigations into any general since July 2017. Xi's approach is straightforward. Whenever suspicion arises around a general, he is swiftly removed. This raises concerns. If a general feels he's next, he might consider rebellion. When such sentiments become widespread, a united revolt becomes conceivable. Xi's military reform, ironically, could amplify his vulnerabilities, possibly leading to a military insurrection. Considering a hypothetical strike by the PLA rocket force on Beijing's leadership center, Zhongnanhai, several factors come into play. Many leading missiles, including the DF-11, DF-15, and DF-16, can't reach Beijing from their southern bases. Longer-range missiles, mainly intercontinental ones, are nuclear-armed and would only be fired under Xi's direct command. Even if missiles like the DF-26 or DF-21 were considered, the technical and strategic hurdles, advanced radar detection, advanced air defense systems like the S-400, and the complex launch process render a successful strike improbable. The intense reshuffling of the rocket force and military leadership under Xi seems to be fueled by multifaceted objectives. Observers have noted that Xi's trusted ally, Zhong Xiaojun, is frequently seen accompanying him at military events. There are speculations that Zhong, eyeing a rise through the ranks, might be using the rocket force restructuring as leverage. If he gains a commanding role in the military, Xi, with his declining health and increasing dependence on allies like Xichang, might find his power checked by both Zhong and Cai. Xi's purge of the rocket force leadership is bound to agitate various military factions. Secret nuclear bases in the Human Mountains, potentially not under Xi's total control, further complicate the scenario. With proportions of the rocket force possibly out of Xi's grasp, they could threaten Beijing's command center and even, in a dramatic turn, champion the idea of southern China's independence.